Hey y'all, welcome to our channel, Loving My Home with Tammy. This is Tammy, and I'm Mason.
And he's the editor. And my baby. We're here doing the Q&A that I had told y'all about. And we had a few questions come in. And so we're going to start with the first one. I didn't take down who wrote what question, but if this is your question, be ready to listen. The first one is, how long have I lived here? And so we moved here in the year 2007. And so that means we've been here, this July will make 18 years. So the next question is, since I work at Hobby Lobby, it asked how many Saturdays did I work? Did I have to work a lot of Saturdays? Well, no, because when you're full-time, you work every other Saturday. And now though that I went part-time, I work no Saturdays because I only work Monday and Tuesday. So I'm loving it. I've done that for about 2 weeks now. So Mason, do you work lots of Saturdays?
I actually work every Saturday. I'm a shift leader at Jimmy John's. I work 4 days a week, and that includes Saturdays. So as of right now, I have been working a lot of Saturdays. I haven't worked for Jimmy John's very long, but as of right now, I am working every Saturday.
Bummer, huh?
Bummer.
Okay, so one friend asked me what my middle name was. Her name was Tammy also. My name is Tammy Melinda. And I believe her name was Tammy Renee. So hi Tammy. Next was, how did Priscilla and Miley join our family? Well, he's the one who brought them home, so I'm going to let him tell those stories about Miley and Priscilla. He's going to start with how he got Miley and why she ended up getting to stay with me.
So Miley came from a friend. He was getting ready to move and didn't want to take Miley with him. He told me that they were going to take him to the pound, and I came up with a plan to convince my mom to keep Miley by telling her that if she went to the pound, that the pound would put her down because she was a pit bull. And so we ended up getting to
right across the forehead.
We ended up getting to keep Miley, and then a couple years later, I was visiting during Christmas from one of the states that I've lived in, and we went over to an ex-girlfriend's house and saw a scroungy little malnourished dog running around the yard. And so I took it, put it in the car. I was going to bring it home, give it a nice bath, and feed it some food because it didn't look like it had eaten in months. Mom came home for lunch from Hobby Lobby and saw the dog, decided that dog wasn't going anywhere, and so she kept Priscilla as well.
I did actually offer the girl who owned her. I went and took Priscilla to the vet at that time and told the girl if she would pay the vet bill that she could get her back. Well, obviously she did not pay the bill because Priscilla has been with us for 10 years and Miley they're 9 and 10 right now, but they're coming close to their birthdays. So they'll be soon, within just a couple of months, 10 and 11 years they've been with us. So anyway, yes, and then I got Miley because Mason moved and he couldn't take her with him to that place. So anyway, I got the blessing out of that. So I love those dogs with my whole being. So anyway, then another question that I had was, have I been to the silos in Waco? And no, I have not. They're in Waco, which is not that long of a drive, but it's about a 4-hour drive, and we just haven't made it there. When we go on trips like that, because we have the dogs with us, that would have been an overnight trip. I have never kenneled them like at a vet or anything, and so I don't know that that would be good. Priscilla is a very scared little dog, and I think that would just push her over the edge, and if they can't go with us, then we don't go do it. So like when we go visit Mason in Colorado, we do hikes, a lot of hikes. We don't go to the caverns or shopping or anything like that because we don't want to leave the dogs in the camper or in a hotel by themselves. And so if they can't go, then we don't know. So that's just kind of how it's been since we've had those 2 sweet puppies. So no, I have not been to the silos, but I would love to go. I don't know that I would buy a lot because I've heard it's expensive, but I might get some ideas. I'll be cheating. Okay, it says, oh, here's the next question. It says, where do you get your home decor inspiration, or does it come natural? I do watch a lot of ladies on YouTube, so I'm not gonna lie. I do get ideas from there. Most of it, I think I just get it natural. Would you say I'm most of the stuff? Because you've been living with me for your whole life.
Yeah,
So,
most of it comes naturally. She'll see something at a store and figure out how to make it herself or make an iteration of it. So she gets it from like things she sees out and about, and like she said, YouTube ladies. But most of it comes naturally.
Okay, and then we have a couple of more questions. One of them, oh, this is actually the last question, but this one's going to take us a little bit of time. So here we've got one of my friends asked, how do you handle the multiple cat situation in terms of spaying, clawing furniture, and fighting? So, a lot of hollering. I have some little clips that I'm going to get the editor, my son Mason, to include in the...
They'll be up here somewhere.
Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Si, get down. Get down. I'm going to include those little clips to show you some of my fussing at them. But as far as the spraying, really there's nothing that you can do to stop that. That's just going to happen because they're trying to mark their territories. I just have a very sensitive nose to the smell of it, and so when I come in and I can smell it, I am all over the place looking for where it's at to make sure that I get it cleaned up immediately. The clawing of furniture, well, my living room furniture is shut away. I have a door dividing it, and I know y'all have seen in past videos, when I come from my living room to my dining room, there's a door. And so that keeps them away from my furniture. Everything else in here is all wood furniture. The master bedroom, they can go in there, and sometimes they do get the box springs, but it's not noticeable because you have bed skirts and everything like that to disguise that. So, and then the fighting, well, that's more hollering. We have several. Amy, our little Amy, she gets picked on a lot, mostly by Dash and Booger. The other day I actually saw Trouble, and she's not usually a troublemaker in that sense. But yeah, it is a lot of work. I vacuum every day. I vacuum my bed, which y'all will see in a clip. Okay, I'm making up the bed for the morning, and because the cats sleep with us, and I know this looks crazy, but I use my little vacuum to vacuum off all the cat hair. I don't know if you can tell, but there's cat hair all in it. And if I didn't do this, I'd have to wash sheets every day, so. Lots of wiping. They hack up, so with hack ups, I showed that in a clip too, where I use some Resolve spray cleaner and a rag, and I wash that up. And yeah, it is a very busy job, but I love the cats. I don't think anybody could take better care of them, so I wouldn't dare get rid of them. I can't put them outside because I'm too scared. And the reason why that is when we moved in here, we didn't move very far, so we lived close to our rent house. And I was afraid that if I let the cats out too soon, they would go back to that house. So I kept them in the house for a month, and then at that time I let them out. At that time I only had 4. And one of them was a young cat. I don't even think he had made it to a year old. he got out into the road and he got hit. Well, that day when he died, I went and got the other 3, and those cats have since passed on, but they all came in, and nobody has went out since. When they come to my home, they come straight in. So I have had a couple escapees, but we usually get them back in pretty quick. So back to the one question where it was asking about Miley and Priscilla. She also wanted to know about all our cats. So we're going to go through the list, and Mason's going to post a picture of them up in the corner. I'm going to give him pictures of them, and they're going to be up in the corner over there. We're going to start with them as they came into our family. So we started with Booger, and he came from a co-worker that I work with. Her name is Holly, and her cat at that time had a litter of kittens, and asked me if I was interested in one, and I was like, okay. And so she let me look at all of them, and I saw this cute, fuzzy little black baby cat, and I was in love immediately. And he actually had a different name because she named all her cats after candy. His original name was Twizzler, and I just wasn't a fan of Twizzler, so I called him Booger. And so he is now 13 years old. So he's been with us for 13 years. And so then we have a cat named Buddy, is how he ended up being named. He was Mason's cat. So I'm going to let Mason tell you about Buddy and his first name.
So Buddy came from an apartment that I lived in here in our hometown. He was a dumpster cat found by the trash can, the apartment complex. Got him and brought him in. He was a little gray cat, so I named him Smokey.
And then he came to us, and I started off, because he looks like he's wearing like a little tuxedo, I started off trying to call him Little Man, and that just didn't stick, and he became Daniel's buddy, and that's what stuck. Daniel is his person. He is with Daniel. He loves Daniel. I have never seen a cat, except for now we have Grayson outside, and he loves Daniel about as much as Buddy does, except he does not live inside. Next, we got a cat named Cy, and he lived with another one of my friends, and he had some other siblings. She had a whole litter of them, and all of them but Cy got, we're not sure, she wasn't 100% sure, but that she thinks coyotes got hold of him. And he's a very scary cat. I don't know if it's just trauma from that and just keeps, has carried over or what. People say that animals can't remember things like that, but I think they can. So it just makes him very timid. He loves Booger. Booger is his cat person. He is just always, he'll walk through the house, and he's got Siamese in him, so he hollers a lot. And we just say, Booger's in here, come here, Si, Booger's in here. And we try to get him together, and once he finds Booger, he's all right. So anyway, she was trying to find a home for him because she was afraid the same thing would happen to him. And so me and Mason went and picked him up. And he's been with us. All of these cats I'm listing right now are all real close to the same age, within 11 to 13 years old. So we have Booger and Buddy inside. Then next we have Amy. And I'm going to let Mason tell you about Amy.
Amy arrived when some family down the street decided to leave her at their house. They decided they wanted to pack up and move, and they actually left a couple of their cats. Amy was the one that came over and stuck around. Not really sure what happened to the other one, but we got Amy. She's a little roly-poly sweet thing.
Yes, she is. She's but she is our timid one. She's the one that tends to be bullied a lot. So she went through a lot of anxiety where we had to put her on anxiety medicine, but seems like now she's doing real good. She has a little basket over here by us that she hides in, and it feels like that's her sanctuary. So next we ended up with Princess Leia. We call her Bite because she bites, and not all the time, but sometimes it's hard, and so you have to kind of be careful. So she came from my mom's house. My mom just lives right down the road from me, and she went out one day and that little kitten was up under her car, and she called me up and said, "Hey Tammy, do you want another cat?" And I was like, okay, well, what's one more, you know? So we went and picked her up, and she's been with us since. And then the next little kitten, now here's where we have a gap. From Princess Leia all the way to Booger, like I said, are all real close in age. Well, then we have Trouble, who will soon be 9 years old. And she has a long story, so I'm gonna tell part of it, and then I'm gonna let Mason tell the second half. So I went outside one day on the back porch to feed I don't know what I was doing out there. I just went outside and kept hearing this little meow, and I was probably blowing the porch off or something. And I kept hearing this little meow, and so I went out to the street and started trying to look for it, and I walked across the street, and there was this little bitty kitty in a ditch, and it had been flooding rain. So she was just like hanging on to the side of this ditch. So I grabbed her and picked her up, brought her and sat her on the back deck, and I was gonna go on the back porch and get some cat food. Well, in the meantime, that little sneaky jumped off of that deck, went under my house. Well, I live in a pier and beam house, and she got up under there. And she was under there for several days.
Finally, one day, we decided we were going to capture her, and it was up to me to figure out how to do so. We took apart the front porch. I ended up crawling underneath the front porch, laying under there for probably an hour or so, with a little small plate of tuna, waiting for the cat to come and start eating the tuna. Well, when she did,
You had a fishing net too.
No, I just used my hand.
Oh, you used your hand? Well, we
I
tried
sprung-
with a fishing net
I sprung my
anyway.
hand and I grabbed her. Well, the first time I grabbed her, I missed, and she kind of got away, but she was still infatuated by the food, so I was able to go back and grab her. After that, I just laid there on the ground. I held her, called for Mom to come outside. When she came outside, opened the door, I just held up the cat like a victory
And that's
trophy.
how she got her name, Trouble. Because she was a lot of trouble. And that was over a period of days. That took us like, in total, probably 2 or 3 days to finally get her out. So it was a whole thing. So then, about the same time that Grayson showed up, which was about 2 or 3 years ago, another cat named Sable showed up at the same time. And we had seen her. She was a little black cat, and one day we noticed that her eye was messed up. And I just looked at her, and I was just about to cry, and I said, Daniel, we've got to catch her. We've got to get her, or it, because we didn't know if it was a girl or boy. I said, we've got to catch that little cat, and because its eye's all messed up, and we've got to get it checked out. So we're gonna probably trap her in a cage, but weird thing, she wouldn't come up to us for days. And then one day, she came up to the front porch, and when I went out to feed her, she went up under the house, up under the porch. And so I started calling, kitty, 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 kitty. And she just came right back out and jumped up on the porch, and she's been our sweet little kitty ever since. And she is the biggest, furriest fur ball ever. She is our heaviest cat, and nobody messes with her. She is the alpha cat. She just came in and made this her home, and she don't let nobody mess with her. So, and then we have Dash. I would get my husband to tell you that story, and I've told you all that story in one of my videos in the past, but he's our baby cat. He is not even a year old yet, but he was found at our church. I had already come home, and I was wondering what in the world was taking Daniel so long, and he came in and he said, I got to show you something. And I was like, and I don't know why I thought this, because it was funny that I did. I said, if he's got a cat out there, I'm going to scream. So I go out, and he opens his car door and gets in and sits down, and he holds up that little cat. And I was like, oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. So anyway, somehow that little cat got away from Daniel while he was in the car, and he got up in the dashboard behind the radio. So we had to tear a lot of the dashboard out, and the radio we had to pull out. It took us so long, and it was so hot because it was in, I think, like May or maybe even June. It was hot, whatever, because we live in Texas. It doesn't take long for us to get hot. So we couldn't leave him out there. So we spent probably an hour and a half to 2 hours trying to get him out of that dashboard. And so that's how Dash got his name. So anyway, that is all of the stories of all the cats that we have at this time. And I'm going to let Mason is a lover of pets. And so I'm going to let him tell you about his little family at home.
So I've got a dog, one dog. It's a pit bull named Bailey. Put her picture over here as well. She's a sweet little service dog, provides great service, and is super duper sweet. Loves everybody she meets, and it's great.
What does she do service for?
She is my service for panic attacks or anxiety, or anxiety.
Where'd you get her?
I got her from a place called the Dumb Friends League, which is the animal shelter located in Denver, Colorado.
I've got to meet her. She is so sweet, and she loved me. I got to go visit, a couple of years ago when I flew up there.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
And she just loved me. While Mason was at work, me and his brother were staying at the house, and she just loved me being there. And she knows my voice. If I talk to her, if I'm FaceTiming with Mason and she hears me call her name or whatever, she knows it's me. So she's sweetie, and I can't wait to get back up there. We're gonna hopefully try to go up maybe this summer, and so I can get to see her again.
And we also have 3 cats. We've got Ellen. She's a 5-year-old tuxedo cat, black and white. That's why her name is Ellen. She's our biggest cat. She's a chunk. I've got an orange cat named Cheeto.
He's a nut.
He's a nut. He's been the most psychotic, most entertaining cat I've ever had. I'll actually post a video of him right here. They'll be playing as I'm speaking, so y'all can get that enjoyment. And whenever my girlfriend moved in with me, she brought her cat named Tilly. She's a light little fluff ball, looks like a cotton ball. She's super duper sweet. Doesn't have much of a meow. She's super duper sweet and roly-poly like Amy.
And I think she deals with the same issues as Amy too, because Cheeto and Ellen can tend to be a little bit bullies.
Yep. She gets bullied a lot too. Unfortunately, Cheeto is a big old bully, big old orange bully.
Well, I'm glad that y'all came and spent time with us. I hope we answered all your questions, and we will get all this edited and get it all fixed up for you. And be sure to look up in the corner, like he said, for all the clips of all the pets. And we will see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Hey y'all. Welcome.
Okay.
Start over.
Cameras rolling.
Wait, hold on. I need to know.
Okay.